Hello everyone, and welcome back, Contra Penguin. So, today we are going to be talking about Koudelka for the PS1. As, if you do watch my Let's Play channel, or just tune in for a video to check out gameplay of that, Koudelka is in the whale set of games that's survival horror mixed with RPGs. Now, unlike, say, like Dead Rising, which has light RPG elements added to it, this is a lot more similar to, like, Sweet Home, where it's actually more RPG-ish, inheriting survival horror elements into its type of gameplay. Now, if you've played Sweet Home before on NES, you'll find some similarities, but overall, to be honest, it has a lot more similarities to, say, like Resident Evil in its presentation, and it kind of a tactics kind of RPG, but turn-based. It's not so original turn-based style. Pardon me. Now, basically, outside of combat, the game works basically like Resident Evil, that most of the survival horror RPGs of time. You move around like it, interact with the items, climb up items, and search for random stuff that can be about orbs, weaponry, bullets, ammo, key items. Now, obviously, when it comes to monsters, it's completely different. Now, you don't ever see the monsters. Hell, you barely see anything, really. I mean, even, like, all the bosses you don't even see on screen. You'll go into a random transition, and you'll be on, like, a tactics field. And, combat works really more like a turn-based game. I mean, there's strategy on the board. Like, for example, if someone dies and monsters go past where the dead corpse is, you can't revive the person. You have to push all the monsters back until they're beyond the fallen party member. Basically, tanking actually works in this game, to be honest. A lot of really old turn-based RPGs, tanking is kind of a difficult thing to do if you don't have some kind of auto cover system or something, or a system where, like, the front row has 90% likelihood of being hit, and so on, lesser categories. Basically, whatever pushes in front of the checkerboard layout, you can't go past the furthest target of the opposite side. In other words, like, you could have two of your people in the far back and then one person far front, and the monsters can't ever go past him unless they physically push him backwards. It's an interesting concept, and there's a lot of weapon variety. There's tons of weapons and elements to take into account when it comes to fighting monsters. There's a lot of variety there. Now, killers have, like, a skill leveling, like, where they can level with swords, guns, knives, all kinds of equipment. And, well, mastery of each type of combat will make them better killer, along with magic, healing, attack magic, stat boosting magic. The game offers a lot of options, but I wouldn't say it's, like, the most balanced thing. Like, there's a few disbalancements, but overall, it's a pretty fun experience, to be honest. But, some people would find the combat really slow. I don't really usually have a problem with really slow combat, to be honest. I play role-playing games, so, if you have patience problems, well, I don't know what to tell you. Why are you playing RPGs? I mean, I know tactics RPGs are a lot longer than usually a normal standard RPG, and this being kind of a hybrid of a turn-based with a little tactics. Makes a little more lengthy combat, but overall, to me, I don't really feel it's very lengthy, but I could see some people maybe making that complaint. Graphically, well, it's a PS1 game. Graphically, I'd say it's a little iffy in certain ways. I like how they were really trying to have kind of like a really medieval. It wasn't like exactly medieval. What's the culture I'm trying to think of? If I remember correctly, it happened around like Europe or that. But I'm trying to think of a Pacific Gothic-core. Well, yeah, I mean that does work, but it's not the particular term I'm thinking of. But the setting is that is a good way of saying it, but it isn't the particular word that's like on the tip of my tongue. Okay, but the environments are pretty nice, and the character models, though I found they were alright. They are a bit older. You could say they're a bit worse than some other character models or that, but graphics aren't everyone. Aren't everything. Music, there's a lot of silent music. Being a very horror environment like game, there's not a lot of action music going on. So you're usually hearing a lot of background music and that's fitting for the mood. Basically, you only have 3 characters for your party. You don't exchange members or anything of that, and they're all customizable. They kind of start out set up a certain way, but overall, you could really just design them however you want. You could go all melee, you could go all magic, you could go deciding how, or just completely balance it. But by then, the game, you should try to have at least of one magic and one melee, because there's going to be several bosses later in the game that will, well, basically screw you one way or the other if you don't have somebody to dish out the other side of the combat damage. Koudelka is a very fun game, I'd say, but it is also a very short game. RPGs are usually known to be like 30 to 50 hour adventures, usually. Koudelka is a really short experience, which is kind of surprising when it's 4 discs. It's 4 discs long, but it's a really short experience, and that's probably because of a lot of the cutscenes. There are some nice cutscenes. They are dated to a certain extent, but I think for the time, they're very nice cutscenes. And it might have also had to do a little bit with how well they might have been managing the compression of data on the disk, but that's just throwing a random guess out there. I mean, I've seen a lot of future games be able to pack a lot more on a disk, so I'm going to probably say compression probably didn't go very well, or the people who made it weren't very good at compressing a lot of data. Or maybe just newer methods came about later on over the time. But Koudelka is slightly a little imbalanced, like I said. It has an interesting short tactical aspect, like you ever play Enchanted Arms? If you ever played Enchanted Arms, kind of think of it a little like Enchanted Arms. They're having a small tactical board instead of such a really large, vast one like Ogre Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, or Disgaea, or pretty much any other tactics game. It's just a very small board to move about. And certain weapons take advantage of that, like spears, similar to like Final Fantasy Tactics. Spears can go further, except it has to be 2 squares instead of like, oh, I can stab the person right in front of me with it. No, you can't do that with spears in this one. But overall, I really enjoy the game. It has 3 endings. My only real complaint, I don't really have one. It's not a really lengthy game. It's a pretty short one, but to be honest, I think it does pretty well. I don't really generally have a real complaint. It offers saves, it offers a very survival horror aspect. Like, for example, basically, there's no store, there's no money or income or anything. Everything's drops or found. And your luck stat has a lot to do with what you find and such. So, you kind of have to potentially hunt down items or rely on the random luck draw, which can make replays very interesting, because you could end up with totally different items you never had. There's also a secret boss. Well, it's not really a secret, but it's really freaking hard. Overall, though, there could be a few interesting replays with the way equipment is dropped in that. But overall, aside from getting the other endings, there ain't too much more to replay for. But it's a pretty short and nice experience. I can't really say that I see anything particularly big that's wrong or anything. It's a really bizarre story. To touch up a little on the story, basically, all the three characters all have their own reasons for coming to the location, which is a church that's basically like out in the middle of nowhere on this cliff area. And basically, they all get caught up into this horrific thing that's happening at this church. Basically, everyone who's been coming to this church just gets brutally murdered. And, well, through disagreements and disbeliefs to the different characters' point of views, basically you have a random adventurer, a girl who has spiritual connections, and a priest who all basically have their forms of trust with each other. So, but overall, without dwelling into any more of it, they find out a lot of screwed up shits happen. And like I said, there's 3 endings, and I really think it's pretty good. And it really is going to get me to go look into the other games, the Shadowheart games, I believe they were called again. I forgot. I always forget the name. It was Shadowhearts, wasn't it? I've had them on my Amazon wish list for a while. But I'm very interested to see the story move forward, especially seeing which of the true endings, the absolute happy ending, isn't actually the true ending. It's just a happy ending. But the normal ending is actually the true ending. And it'll be interesting to see where the story goes from now. I'll look forward to seeing the remaining characters who continue on into the story and progress, and I look forward to that. But yeah, I know I ramble too much. I really have no consistency. Basically, should you play Koudelka? It's a short experience. It's not going to be something you're going to invest a large amount of time. You could, doing grinding or getting Pacific drops, I never really felt like I needed. I mean, in the beginning of the game, I did do a little bit because I was in fear that I would, but later in the game, I've actually didn't have that problem. Actually, I had more of a problem of having too many weapons. So, to be honest, I would say not worry about that too much if you pick it up and play. I highly recommend Koudelka. It's a very interesting and rare type of RPG. The survival horror RPG, or survival RPGs, is not a very common thing. There's only a few of them, really. I mean, they exist. It's just not into the quantities of hundreds, thousands. I mean, hell, I'd say there's probably, luckily, maybe even barely anywhere near 50 of them, just as a random guess. But, I really enjoy the idea of a survival horror RPG. It's a very interesting idea, and I just hope somebody tries to do the concept again, or revise, or do something, I really like the idea. I would like to see a game kind of like Sweet Home, Koudelka, or just something that just goes to a new level with that idea. I mean, Dead Rising has RPG elements in it, but let's face it, it's not really an RPG. It's a hack and slash kind of thing, time escort mission type game. It's a time management game with RPG elements in it that takes place during the zombie apocalypse. It's not really an RPG, and it's definitely not its main focus either. But, yeah, I really do recommend Koudelka. To be honest, I would say it's a little unbalanced, like I said, but, overall, I don't really have any major complaints about it. It's interesting, offers a lot of variety, nice character development. It doesn't get too overall complex, but it doesn't get so batshit simple. It's boring as fuck. But, I think it's good. I liked it. I really did enjoy it, and I will probably look back at it fondly for a PS1 title. And I hope you look forward to trying it if you ever try to buy it, or get it, or rent it, or something of that caliber. If you want to see video game footage, go to my Let's Play channel, or my playlists on this channel, and you can see video game footage of it. And, if you have any questions or anything about the game, feel free to ask. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I apologize for rambling a lot. I know I ramble a lot, but I can't help it. It's just how I am. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.